Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Shadow Fiend.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Winter Wyvern.
Radiant team pick.
Templar Assassin.
Dire team pick.
Brood Mother.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Clockwork.
Dire team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining.
Spirit Breaker.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
The sack.
Dire team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. 5 seconds remaining. Prepare for battle.
Thank you, Coddle Guy. I'm Capitalist, and I'm joined here by Merlini. That's right, we've got the original here, no substitutes for this cast.
All right, we see a Leshrac versus Broodmother. This is a counter that I actually think is playable for the Broodmother, or playable for the Leshrac rather, as long as you have Sentry support in the early levels, because this guy has a ton of AoE, even with the Lightning nerf. As long as you get like a relatively safe 3 or even 5, then you should be completely okay. You can see VP already trying to be tricky with the lanes.
Yeah, they're going to go for this 4-man smoke up through the enemy jungle here. Now, they do get their early ward set up right up on the magic bush that is going to block out both of these camps. And if EG, see if they do have 2 different counter wards still. Here is holding on to his, so that should be countered away pretty quickly. But you can pretty much guarantee that the first spawn, maybe even the minute spawn, is still going to be blocked out before they get to it. Looks like they're going to pick up the Bounty Runes split. No fighting over it in the first level, but what do you think? Virtus.Pro, definitely the more interesting combination here is going to be the Venomancer Ancient Apparition, which we've seen Cloud9 run a couple times, but this time around, it's going to be the Venomancer as a core. I feel pretty confident about this pickup against heroes like Templar Assassin, who Venomancer actually served as a laning phase counter against TA once upon a time.
You know, it was going to be pretty successful in this game. They don't really have that much lockdown for him. You don't really want to Winter's Curse him, nor do you really want to Nether Strike him, and he's going to get off his ulti. And it's also really good versus TA, and they have a lot of damage to burst through Cold Embrace, as well as the AA heal, so I think VP's draft kind of nicely counters that aspect, the Winter Wyvern in particular, but the Brood I think is super important. Can DK Phobos actually push out the lanes and, you know, deal with the mild AoE from Winter's Wyvern as well as the heavy AoE from Leshrac?
Yeah, you said that, you know, this is the Broodmother in a way is kind of countered. They've got the AoE of the Leshrac, and Splinter Blast I think is so favorable as a support. Like, if I'm playing the Winter Wyvern and I'm up against a Broodmother, once I get that level 7, I'm just a happy camper because I know I'm going to get so much farm. But because of that, VP are actually running an aggro tri-lane of theirs, which is a triple tri-lane with that chilling touch, which is automatically a great advantage. You combine the fact that Venomancer is a strong laning phase hero, and it seems like a great tri-lane to start with. They're actually going to go really aggressive early on. They're going to catch out PPD, but FNG is going to be their turnaround kill. Who's going to get that first blood first? Oh, just barely. VP pick up the kill on the Winter Wyvern and claim that coveted first blood gold before the Rubik does go down. So already the aggro tri-lane is a success, which means our Broodmother is going to be left in a 1 versus 1 against the Clockwork, which is a very favorable matchup. The only thing Clockwork can do is max out the Rocket Flare, which can get him a decent amount of farm, but won't really stop the Broodmother.
That was a really smart play from Peter. He didn't try to run away. You can't run away from level 1 Venomous Scale. And he just stood there and immediately started attacking the Rubik, and their chance of getting first blood there was actually pretty high for EG with that turnaround immediately.
Lil guarding that bottom rune is going to be able to pick it up. Bounty there. Haste rune at the top lane. We'll see who actually grabs that one. And keeping an eye on Universe. Looks like he's been trying to burn out, which is exactly the right play in the first level. Try and burn out the Broodmother's mana as much as possible via cogs, and see if you can force him to stop spamming out that Spiderlings. But of course, eventually we're going to see the Soul Ring, so there's only so much that cogs mana burning can really do for you.
How do you feel about the SF versus TA matchup? I've heard a lot of mixed things about it.
Yeah, I've heard that like it used to be really favorable to the Templar Assassin at one point in time, just because your damage was so overwhelming. So in those first couple levels, the SF couldn't really get souls. And then we also have the stacking.
Arteezy.
Oh, then charge in. They're going to be able to bump back both these supports. They're going on to FNG, but Arteezy is going to go down first. FNG is their turnaround kill. Illidan is very far forward here, but it looks like with the backup of Lil, who actually pops his healing salve, they will be able to make sure that EG doesn't get a secondary kill out of that. But again, they trade away the Rubik for a kill, and this time around, it's on the core.
The same thing coming out from Arteezy. As soon as he gets cold feet, he doesn't even try to move away from the cold feet. He just starts and tries to get a double stun off and then ends up as much damage as he can with lightning.
They do have the TP in for the Rubik, but they've already popped Illidan almost. He managed to get off the salve, which is perfect. That means they'll be able to get the kill on Fear at the very least and get a little damage on Arteezy in the process, but just the max out aggression there, well timed by EG, knowing that they had the numbers advantage with the Rubik still being gone. FNG moving forward, hoping to be able to get a telekinesis and pull back Arteezy to the Venomancer. Not the case. Middle lane, God is actually going to be chased down. An easy kill for Sumail. Managed to get the last right click onto the SF, and even had the Spirit Breaker charging in, but it wasn't necessary.
They committed so many Observer Wards to the Radiant side of the map. One on the Magic Bush, one kind of in the lane, one in mid, and completely blind to the top, where Sumail was able to just sneak a haste rune. I think that's the only rune that SF dies to. Maybe Invis if he's really out of position, but highly unlikely. Yeah,
that would kind of require the probably require the meld build, right, from Templar Assassin to actually go for
level
an Invis
6
kill.
But he wasn't level 6 at that point.
But we have it now with the trap set up, and this is kind of a scary part for God now. He's already a little bit under level compared to the Templar Assassin, and the traps add obviously that kill potential that is normally needed for a TA. And we don't have any stacks. This is going to be another downside of the aggro tri-lane, is there's no stacking for the SF to make a recovery quite quickly.
Yeah, and on top of that, the one of the downsides of having an aggro try is that your supports can't really roam around. It's super obvious when they go, because it's not like they can pull. So, okay, they're either ganking mid, or you'll see them in the bottom lane. So now they kind of have to bring FNG over, which means these two heroes on the bottom lane have to play super far back. Lil and Illidan are almost sitting at the T1 tower, even with vision of the support.
But look at poor Universe. There's, with only level 2 Rocket Flare, you can't actually kill any of these Spiderlings in the beginning. So Universe is just taking a lot of harassment. DK Phobos is well ahead of him at level 6 now. This is obviously a large part because he's able to take control of the neutrals as well as farming out the lane.
As long as he stays alive, though, he should be okay. The Brood can't really push a tower with a level 3 Rocket Flare, and I do like that build coming out from the clock.
Yeah.
Gotta switch it up.
Yeah, kind of a necessity against that Broodmother, and well, if he lands this next rocket, he'll actually get a decent amount of gold from some of these Spiderlings that are a little bit injured up. Right now, they've left Illidan alone here in the bottom lane. He's only level 4, and they're rotating their 2 supports up to the top lane. Now, eventually, EG are going to get wind of this, and they're just going to try and go on the Venomancer, which almost feels like a free kill in a way.
It's pretty obvious that he has a ward there. Normally, a Venomancer would place a Plague Ward to the left side, and he's playing on the right side of the creeps, and whenever Fear comes up, he scoots right into the fog so that he doesn't get charged, and they need to get a sentry for EG, and I think it's a somewhat obvious play.
Yeah. They also need a sentry to remove the ward that's blocking out. Oh, middle lane. Sumail actually coming forward, but telekinesis, he will be stunned up here, and that's going to be an easy kill for God. Fear cancels his charge, knowing that there's nothing he can really do. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Universe is getting chased away by the Broodmother. DK Phobos, though, didn't have the mana to commit for another nuke.
This is a difficult play to do if you're on the Radiant side, but DK Phobos being on the Dire side, you can actually creep skip in between the T1 and the T2. It's a slightly larger range in between those 2 towers, and if you have a really favorable matchup, you can actually do that instead of do the neutrals. So Broodmother, Phobos showing the flexibility of the hero, and the many things that you can do. Brood Mama.
Yeah, especially with the strength. Okay, Venomancer is actually going for... I was kind of interested to see what build this would be. He's going more levels in Poison Sting. rather than the just straight out max wards.
It scales so much better than before.
Yeah. Does he actually mag? Oh, they're going to be able to jump onto DK Phobos, and this is exactly what Universe needed to do. You said all he has to do is survive. Nice telekinesis pick up though by FNG, and maybe that's enough space to be able to get DK Phobos out, but he's going to run out of webs eventually, and the dust is still controlling him enough that he will end up going down. Peter is going to be able to get away from these Spiderlings just in time. EG commit 4 different heroes to stomp that Brood Mother, but Universe survived through the lane long enough to get his level 6 and sets up his team for the kill.
Luckily, Rubik was just barely able to escape, and now finally Illidan can get some farm in the meantime. VP already boarding up the Radiant Ancients, and they desperately need Sentry so they can keep up in farm. You really want to be more farmed than this Venomancer, and looks like he's going to kind of burst ahead in net worth with his 5-man rotation. That's a sacrifice.
Yeah. What do you think about the builds here for the Templar Assassin? Do you go the straight Desolator that we've seen a lot, or do you think the Blink Dagger first before the Desolator is more essential?
I think they have really good kill potential with the Clock and the Spirit Breaker, and without a Deso, without a blink, you're generally not going to be able to burst them down in time before a TP reaction or maybe even like a Rubik lift. I'm not sure which way they're going to take it though. They don't have overwhelmingly strong late game because Leshrac is their position 1 and he didn't have that great of a time on bottom. So I think either or. You still need to wait for the game to develop a little bit more, but he's already committed to a Deso.
Okay, so that first Mithril Hammer coming out.
So this is a much more defensive play and stacking, and you can get kills, but we already saw how vulnerable he is to even something as simple as Cold Feet, which is good at taking off refraction as well as being able to just put the TA in a really bad position.
Yeah, we've got 3 different heroes that can take through refraction pretty quickly. In a way, Brood Mother can if you've got Spiderlings. Bottom lane, they're going to be able to catch Universe, and he's definitely going down with that Ice Blast on top of him. So a nice pickup by VP, and might actually set them up for the tower, or maybe not with its CPN. The Lashrac's going to go for the kill on Illidan. Has vision, Fear just comes in, bonk, will be able to finish him off. Now the question is, FNG, he's playing this really aggressively because he knows how low RTZ is. The Fate Bolt, it might be enough to finish him off. Just need another right click, but couldn't get it. 50 HP is what RTZ will survive on. FNG gets real greedy and does die in the process of attempting for that Leshrac kill.
They don't have any ways to stop the charge aside from the telekinesis, and that thing's on a super long cooldown. They had already used it from the Rubik, and Universe knew that if he was in that sort of position that they could get some return kills. And it's really important to keep Venomancer under farm. We saw Puppy support Venom, I think, get Scepter at 25. I think Illidan his timing might be even later than that.
Yeah, this has not been a very happy time. It's kind of been the sacrifice that Illidan has had to play running this aggro tri-lane. He's kind of shut down RTZ a bit, but it's also cost him a lot of his own farm.
I don't think it's paid off.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Every kill that they got one death in return, and they're going to get the tower now, but RTZ is still pretty darn farm. 3,200 compared to 2,200 for Venom.
Yeah, I think it would be very fair to say that aggro tri-lanes can't afford to only go 1 for 1. That's just not a
great idea. Rubik sitting around, but Illidan's kind of out in no man's land.
The Invids spotted out there, going to be able to get FNG, slowing him down. They actually go for Illidan. Nice telekinesis toss, though. There's still the ultimate from Fear, who picked up a very early level 6, and it's actually Universe's cheeky Rocket that finishes off the Rubik and steals the kill.
That was a very nice telekinesis play from Rubik, and I think he would have gotten away with it had Spirit Breaker not been level 6.
But not been for those pesky kids.
Yeah, they have 2 good heroes versus the Venomancer, the Clockwork and the Spirit Breaker. You kind of just charge in. If you want a Nova, they're okay with that, and if you don't get your Nova off, you're gonna die anyways. So that's pretty good. And the Plague Warders don't necessarily help versus that at all.
Well, the Desolator is going to be coming up rather soon for EG, so this also opens up potentials for the Radiant side to actually take Roshan, which is a pretty rare thing for that first Rosh, but with this kind of minus armor, they win a fight, especially near that bottom lane. You never know what could happen for EG. Gon is catching up in net worth, though. He's been spending a lot of his time being back and forth between the middle lane and the jungle. FNG committing yet another ward to block out that stack. Seems obviously quite necessary to prevent the Templar Assassin.
Yeah, he had to commit a smoke to that, though.
Yeah.
So they're investing a lot to try and shut down TA's farm. like an aggro try and all these observer wards and massive sentry wards, but he's still like really far ahead of everyone else.
Seems like not only Desolator, but a Blink Dagger is going to be up before they actually have these team fights go on.
Why do you need to even make the choice if you get both in 15?
Yeah, exactly. Before, you know, any engagements really happen. I mean, it's 8 to 5, but it's only been laning phase kills. I think VP are going to be really looking to just sit back and farm up. In fact, you can see Illidan is actually trying to use his maxed out wards now to farm up the Ancients.
There's no way he can farm as fast as a TA, though.
FNG gets picked off. The Ice Blast does come in, lands on 4. Very nice setup, but DK Phobos, he's just getting bursted down. The ultimate goes out from God, but immediately following is the Winter's Curse that ultimate plays. He turns around, goes for Fear, but immediate flash, and he actually gets taken out. Still, though, the death animation managed to take out the Templar Assassin, and Fear will tick out from that last urn. Illidan and Lil actually come out pretty big, going into that fight towards the tail end, and even the Winter Wyvern going down to the poison at the end.
Wow, that bash actually killed Sumail. He pushed him so he was right on top of the TA, and then when he died, he just burst all his souls on him. He was at like 60% HP, I think, from that.
Do you think that was a worthwhile engagement? I mean, he kind of shuts down God, but Illidan definitely got a lot of recovery.
Without the
from
TA kill, I think it would have been fine. But look at Shadow Fiend's build. He's just gone for straight HP.
Yeah.
Although I'm a little surprised he didn't go for the mech.
Yeah, why is that? Because if we see SFs not go for the mech, it's usually because they have an offlane who's able to pick up the mech, but that's not the case
I think
here.
because they don't really plan on trying to fight that much, just dodge fights with Venomancer and try and get AA ult, just burst kills here and there around the map, as well as have Broodmother kind of do Broodmother things. But I don't know, it's hard to not take fights when there's a Spirit Breaker in the game. He just almost automatically commits one team or another to the fight. So
That rocket's gonna spot out FNG. The hookshot actually, oh no, it doesn't quite miss. It actually hits Roshan, and now FNG, he's like, okay, you're inside the Roshan pit. I'll go ahead and telekinesis you into the side. I've got the double damage. With the help of my team, we'll take you out. Fear's gonna come in and force this fight onto Rubik once again, and he still has the ultimate, but it may not even be necessary. Gets the bash, now he commits the ultimate to DK Phobos. Meanwhile, Illidan is keeping a lot of these heroes back, but he doesn't have his ultimate anymore, so that means EG actually be able to push forward and take him out. Still though, DK Phobos is gonna be able to sneak in from the side and go onto the Winter Wyvern. With help of the nukes, they'll take him out, and Slim Shady, Sumail, he's slowed down. Oh, nice dodge there with the meld. He actually turns around, goes for Lil, but that's not going to be enough to get the kill. He goes down as well, and VP, we talked about the potential. Maybe EG could win a fight around the Roshan area and take Roshan for themselves, which is pretty rare to see on the Radiant side, but sure enough, it continues to stay on the dire side advantage.
Wow, that whip hookshot it made the fight way too long. If they just kill the root, maybe they get a charge on someone else, and then he can kind of commit the nether strike to that, but
they have vision inside of the pit with this charge. Arteezy can very easily go in. In fact, Lil, he's going to TP out, will be able to get out, and this is big because he can actually throw an Ice Blast in pretty soon. Arteezy immediately targeted out, just gets bursted. Now the Winter's Curse on the DK Phobos, but if they don't get lucky with bashes, they're not going to be able to get the kill in the turnaround. FNG throws a Winter's Curse of his own, and VP just win 2 fights in a row right in front of the Roshan pit, and this time around, 100% the Aegis is theirs.
Problem for that entire fight was that the Observer Ward has been sitting here the entire time. It's been up for, what, 5 minutes now? And I actually saw Peter ping it out afterwards because they had complete vision of Arteezy walking in because of the pre-channeled Requiem and all these other spells that just destroyed them when they went into the Roshan pit.
Oh, okay, so talking about the mech, I didn't actually think of this, but the Venomancer is actually going to go for the mech, it seems.
Seems like it's fine. He's kind of just there to tank up and get a little bit of damage off. And, you know, once you reach some point at Venomancer, you kind of have to relegate yourself to that role. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to get the Ag's Veil in 20 minutes and get a Midas and get out of control. So they're just relying on the hero that had a better start to do the damage. And you're not really that worried because TA, as we saw last fight, just got completely kited and might die again right here.
Sumail, he's run out of refraction charges so quickly with all those broodlings on top of him. And now they're going to be able to take a tier 2, it seems, as I highly doubt EG are going to be able to contest. The spam out of the lightning is nice, but I don't think it's going to be enough. BP, then again, they don't have any sustain. Oh, actually, I take that back. They do have an urn on Lil, which is a little surprising to see, considering how close he is to the Ags.
I don't think Sumail's going to be able to do anything this game, though. He hasn't gone for a Blink Dagger. He's going to get a BKB, but even then, he's still going to get kited. his refraction charges are going to pop immediately from, like, if not Veno or AA, then it's going to be Broodmother or Requiem, and I don't know. I don't really see them having that much damage. Leshrac had a decent start, but after that Roshan engagement has fallen behind even the relatively poor Venomancer. And what's he going to do? Get a Bloodstone and try and farm up? He's still going to be just the primary focus down target because TA you can just kind of ignore. Just scale her and focus down the weaker heroes and then deal with the TA later.
Right. And all this in between the magic damage, and we also now have the Orchid on the Broodmother. It seems unlikely Leshrac's going to be able to survive long enough to actually be a carry in these team fights. That Pulse Nova. We'll see, maybe EG can still get themselves a good fight, but at this point it seems like their best play is going to be split pushing and avoiding team fights.
Yeah, I think the talked about the aggro trade not really being worth it, but I think their overall game plan was, okay, let's keep Leshrac underfarm. Which is more useful, an underfarm Leshrac or an underfarm Venomancer? Yeah. And a Venomancer has been played as a support, whereas Leshrac, I guess, kind of has, but it's just not RTZ's playstyle, and he's not able to do the things that he can normally do because he doesn't have any items. Right. He can't split push out lanes, he can't go in to even think about Pulse Novaing down heroes, and at this point, he can't do the flash farming and get his ridiculous GPM that he usually does.
A tier 1 for a tier 2 VP. Happy with the exchanges so far, but they don't really have any more objectives to take. I highly doubt they're going to be pushing uphill in the next 5 minutes, so all that's really left is that tier 2 in the top lane. So for now, it's going to be pretty much the control game, trying to make sure they hold as much of the map as possible and farming efficiently.
It actually seemed like that one missed hook shot into like that disastrous Roshan attempt kind of swung the whole game around in favor of VP. And
nice steal. That's going to be worth the damage that FNG took as long as he doesn't die, because now he's got the telekinesis into Split Earth. When you don't have an animation, it makes some of those spells rather easy to land.
Wow. Ancient Apparition is actually number 4 on net worth.
Yeah, it's pretty insane how farmed Lil is.
Has picked up his ag.
Oh man. Look at PPD. Like, if TK Bulbous hits this nuke, Peter dies. But, oh, hookshot in. He's actually going to bring Illidan inside of the cogs here, but unfortunately, that Blade Mail isn't going to be enough to ensure a kill.
He used that Blade Mail way too late. He could have... Shadow Fiend would have actually had to sacrifice his Aegis if they wanted to kill him that quickly.
And Peter actually died. I wasn't actually sure if Peter was going to take down from that one, but he did. Stun, nice play from FNG. Actually catches Pharisee, charges in from the side. And EG, I think they've all but fallen apart entirely here, as it seems like they're going to be giving up a laner Rax before the 20-minute marker. God, he just keeps on pushing forward with the little time left on this Aegis.
FNG always surprisingly strong in his drafts. First pick TA was very popular at the start of the patch because there weren't that many counters, but once people realized that Venomancer was good, as well as Darkseer kind of being a top-tier offlaner, it hasn't been picked that often.
Another Ice Blast right on through, and Sumail's going to be caught by that one, and he's just going to be gone. Oh, nice Winter's Curse. Maybe this can actually be a good fight with a nuke. They'll be able to take out the Rubik, and God's going to go down as well with Phobos locked inside the cogs. Finally, EG get themselves a good engagement. Illidan's just hoping to be able to get the kill on Arteezy, but he quickly gets overwhelmed. So yes, VP were in a great position, but they were pretty much ready to close out that game until that Winter's Curse placed down by PPD.
And finally they catch a small break, but still suffering a lot of structural damage, and I mean, the AA is just going to be such a big problem for them. Ice Blast just does so much damage, more than like both of the supports and Clockwork took line on the side of EG, and Fear wasn't really able to move around and do the damage that you want to do to like a Shadow Fiend or a Broodmother in the early mid because of all this pressure coming Arteezy's way.
Right. They desperately need to pick up some Glimmer Capes in order to deal with this Ag's Ice Blast, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. I do like the Arteezy choice to back down from the Bloodstone and go for the Ul Scepter. It felt like you kind of needed that item to counter the Orchid as well as some of this damage over time.
Yeah, they don't have that great of setup either because Clockwork hasn't been able to coordinate his hookshots with the team. There was the one at Roche, the one on bottom was merely a stall attempt because he knew he was going to die hooking in, and maybe they can go for some pickups with the Yules on the side lanes while they're pushing. Like, for example, right now the Shadow Fiend is kind of isolated and alone, and if they get a charge on him, that's a big kill. That's a huge momentum swing for EG. Looks like they might actually go for it.
Would be really good if they could get it. RTZ trying to get close enough. The pings go out. God, it looks like he knows. The rest of VP are coming up, and EG, if they want to stay alive, they're going to have to back out.
It's the right play, though, from EG. They're trying to stop the 5-man. They know they're severely underfarmed right now, and their best bet is to get pickoffs here and there, try to expand their map territory a little bit so they can farm, and it looks like VP is just playing way too smart. They're all grouped as 5 aside from the Broodmother, who doesn't really need to be with the team. We saw Sumail on top. He was trying to look for a double meld strike, and they're just not falling for any of these shenanigans.
DK Phobos is going to have a BKB, so this actually gives a little bit more potential to the Broodmother in these uphill pushes. Can be a much bigger factor in team fights when you have that magic immunity. Otherwise, the Broodmother just kind of operates as this split push, single target pickoff hero. They almost, in fact, they will. Glimmer Cape picked up by PPD. I'm really surprised he was able to pick up it was like 1,000 gold within the last 2.5, 3 minutes.
Rubik looks like he's sitting up on Templar.
Oh, they're going to go on to Illidan here. They're managed to lock him inside with the Blade Mail pops. This should be the death of Illidan. Fear's actually going to go for more. Actually catches Lil in the background. Illidan's still alive, but he is going to be just bursted down as Sumail comes forward. They're going to go for that additional kill onto Lil. Fear has to sacrifice his life for that one, but still, the damage over time is actually rapidly taking through the refraction. If Sumail's not careful, he's going to be stunned up by that cold feet. So 1 for 2 so far. And VP might even look for more DK Phobos. Keeping his eyes on PPD.
Anyone who's at even close to half HP is just waiting to get shattered by the Ancient Apparition. It's so much damage, and Lil has been on point with him. Look at his score. He's beyond godlike.
Yeah, he is. He's insane. He's now got a Ghost Scepter, so he can play a little bit more farther forward against his Templar Assassin, not have to worry about being bursted down immediately.
There's one coming down right down the mid lane.
RTZ. Looks like he's going to be caught by this one. And that's him back to base. 1 nuke, that's all it takes.
Yeah, he ticks down to like almost half HP, and that's with a Glimmer.
Okay, so he's going to Glimmer, Yules, everything he can to stop some of this damage so he can stay out and farm a bit more. The next Roshan is coming up in the next minute. That will be VP's time to push uphill if they can get the next Aegis.
There's just too much damage on VP. Veno ult and AA ult are two things that you can't really avoid, especially if the AA ult is in a good position. And Glimmer Cape is only single target. You can't save all these heroes. And we saw even though they had a really good engagement on the Venomancer, 2 heroes still died.
What's better for EG? Yeah, I should ask this question a little bit later because it seems like VP are going to get a pick off on Peter. Catching him, pulling it back. Nice Force Staff actually gives him the save with the Glimmer Cape. Very nicely played by Universe with that Force Staff to stop the telekinesis pullback. And VP, maybe they can catch Sumail still, but he's got the Blink Dagger, and he knows. So what's better? EG, if they have the choice, if they actually know everything and make the conscious decision, do they contest Roshan? Is it better to fight around the Roshan pit and try and contest that Aegis, or is it better to play defense and operate on those buybacks?
I think it's defense and operate on the buybacks.
Okay.
You're waiting for Brood to fall off, and he's having to go for a BKB build, and they have Glimmer and other spells to try and deal with his Orchid. So you wait for the Broodmother to fall off, and you're kind of fighting 4.5 v5, and you want Leshrac to be able to get a BKB at some point as well as TA. That's kind of a half measure versus the ultimates. But you have to get a BKB. Requiem plus Veno ult plus AA ult, it's the whole screen, and you just can't dodge them in the team fight. So that means if you can't outplay it with positioning, you simply have to get BKB, but it's going to take maybe too long for them to get 3 of them. We see 1 on Templar Assassin. I think Spirit Breaker is going for 1, and Leshrac will probably eventually go for 1.
Yeah.
But that's going to be too long. I don't think they're going to get the time that they so desperately need.
EG, they didn't really have much choice in the matter. They 4-man smoked up, but with the double damage on Shadow Fiend, they take out Roshan. Fast enough that EG didn't even have a chance to contest if they wanted to.
So I think AA is not that far away from the fight, so the Ice Blast will be pretty small. I think they need to kill Illidan probably very early.
Oh, the hookshot actually going for Illidan as soon as possible, just as you suggested. The Winter's Curse actually getting laid down on the SF. Meanwhile, on the side, Fear's actually going to be gone on. Looks like he will be able to get out while the Rubik does die to Templar Assassin. God Pop at the BKB. Ice Blast actually clips Sumail. But God is threatened enough without his BKB and at half HP. Doesn't look like they're going to fight anymore. So well played. They use that haste rune quite well on the side of EG.
They don't have any ultimates up. Or they don't have Clockwork and Winter Wyvern, their main ultimate, so they might actually still go in.
Yeah, with 2 heroes down, 1 TP back and 1 dead, Arteezy is going to be able to catch Illidan, and he just barely gets off his ultimate, but what's the point? If there's no follow-up, the rest of EP, DK Phobos actually has to dodge Fear's charge in through. He actually managed to get off the Orchid in time to stop that ultimate, but that's going to be a BKB charge down at the very least, and that's kind of the opening. I really like the way that EG forced that fight in the beginning. You know, just as you say, they kind of need to go on Illidan first. That's exactly what Universe does, but it was also the fragmented nature of that fight that didn't allow VP to get, you know, those really good ultimates. They just really abused the fact that they had these kind of hit-and-run heroes between the Clockwork and the Templar Assassin with the haste rune.
Yeah, it was merely a distraction so that Templar Assassin could pick off the Rubik. Generally, Rubik's like right next to the Clockwork initiation target.
Oh God, is he gonna get pushed back over the cliff? The Clock's actually pushing down, oh no, but now he's next to Samael, and that's still perfect for EG. They take away that one. The stun onto DK Phobos, he doesn't have a BKB, so he should be going down here, but they don't have any counter vision. Now the ultimate goes off from God, he's gonna be able to take down Fear, and the rest of EG actually back out from that engagement. They won it in a way, as they're able to get that free kill on the Spirit Breaker and take away the Aegis.
You know, we can see how they can win team fights as long as they're not all together. They killed Illidan, forced them to use Nova when none of VP's heroes were around. They weren't all ready for that Clockwork hookshot, and Rubik died as a result of the fight. So they're trying to play like very tight positioning, but EG are finding the weaknesses, and likely they'll need another Aegis to even think about pushing another high ground.
Yeah, this doubles up the game for probably another 10 minutes, perfect for EG. Of course, there's still plenty of growth on the side of VP. We still need that Aghanim Scepter on the Venomancer. SF has a lot he can scale into as well. And the one big problem, as you said before, is going to be the Broodmother, who is going to taper off over time.
I think it might have been better for AA to not have been in that last push, though. And I don't think the AA will really hit anyone that fight, but it's just so hard when you're, you know, one screen away. You need to be like all the way across the other side of the map, but at the same time that kind of leaves him vulnerable to like a Clockwork and maybe like a Spirit Breaker engagement, because he went items that defended him against TA, which is the Ghost Scepter, and now he's going a Force Sap, so he can kind of get out of the Clockwork too. So I can understand why they didn't do that, because they don't want the AA to be picked off and have no Ice Blast instead of a small chance of the Ice Blast hitting, and they also didn't expect EG to actually fight outside of their base.
So do you think in that case, once he does get the Force Staff, should he just be split pushing down one of the side lanes so he has more distance or a better Ice Blast AoE?
They also want like the picks to work out. Like a lot of the reason that push actually failed too was because the smoke ink onto Peter actually failed, and they weren't able to fight 5-on-5 instead of 4-on-5, which VP really wanted to. So it just depends on how they want to take it. Either look for picks, or it looks like they are looking for picks because they're trying to get map control right now with Gem on Ancient Apparition, and they do need him for that.
Yeah. We'll talk about the NKB versus Daedalus in a second as soon as we watch Fear die, as the Ice Blast should be enough to get the kill. And Peter, he's also going to go down here. He gets off the Winter's Curse, but he's still slowed down enough that DK Phobos may be able to commit for the kill, but never mind, the physical damage just ripped him apart. He does go down. Arteezy backs away from the cold feed proc. And now they're going to re-engage, slowing down Illidan, trying to burst him down with the BKB activated by Samael. He'll get that one kill and searches for more, knowing that Fear's going to be able to back him up soon as he ultimate throws it down, but he gets interrupted by the telekinesis, and God, he has so much physical damage now. Samael is actually just going to be run down by God as he has no more refraction ticks, and he goes down to him as well. God with a double kill as he pushes forward, doesn't need his quote-unquote one-position Venomancer, as that was a title that was passed on long ago to the Shadow Fiend.
Kind of fending it off with the BKBs. I don't see them having any anti-BKB counter as of yet, unless Rubik steals something awesome. But right now he just has refraction, and TA's going in at the right time, just waiting for them to use Gale, wait for Veno to be in a position where he can just be bursted down while the TA has her BKB on. They don't really have a good way to force her BKB out, and that's the thing of when you're approaching so close to EG's base. You can fight on your terms, you can get the jump with the charge, with the Clockwork hookshot, with even Split Earth as they push up the hill.
Well, this is a little awkward. Arteezy comes forward, gets hit by the telekinesis, and he's dead. That was just the wrong time for him to try and aggressively push forward.
He's just scrambling for any sort of farm. He knows that they're in a huge net worth deficit. And VP are just constantly going down mid and mid and mid and mid. So the more he pushes out the lanes, the less chance they have to push, but this leaves them open for a push like this. He does have 4,000 gold though.
Yeah, so he will be able to buy back. And he's got a lot of levels, which is the important thing about a Leshrac. Even if he is a bit underfarmed, in the right positioning, with the right setup from EG, he can do a lot. As Universe is going to jump on a God, and they will be able to take him out with the Winter's Curse. Samael is going to be stunned up. FNG not going to be able to survive through that one. Illidan gets off a great ultimate with the Ice Blast over the top. They may still be able to get a couple of pickoffs with DK Phobos alive. DK Phobos actually gets pushed back by the cogs there. Universe, unfortunately, not catching that Broodmother like he wanted to, it seems. But
Sumail?
Once again, EG, oh wow, that was
close.
PPD. He ended up going down. Samael.
He almost shattered. He had Venom ult and AA ult on him.
Oh wow, yeah. What is it at? Like, that's 200 HP, and the Ice Blast is, what, 11% at level 2? Think if it was level 3, the 12%, that probably would have been enough. Alright, so I kind of want to talk about this one. I'm waiting for the...
They're getting impatient. They know that they have a Brood, which doesn't scale that well, so they want to push with his BKB so that he doesn't get wrecked later. But last fight, I think he BKB'd onto the Winter Wyvern, or the fight before rather, and then he got 3-shot by the TA as he was inside their base, and TA will just destroy Broodmother in a man fight, and they don't want to get to that point where it's BKB ward, but it already has because they've taken the risk already, and they wanted to wait for the Roche, but EGs have had like fantastic engagements too. That jump on the Shadow Fiend was very, very well executed.
Okay, so this item build for Samael. It seems pretty obvious that he's going to go the MKB. He obviously needs hold on to buyback though. Do you actually like the MKB? Because there is the butterfly, that's obviously why he would go for it here.
And incapacitating bite.
Oh, that's also true. I forgot about that one. I was also thinking, but the Daedalus would have a lot of value in a way. Oh no, Samael! Oh, what a terrible time to bling forward to farm as he runs into the 4-man smoke of VP. But going back to it, I just thought that the critical could actually be a potential build as well, because not going for the SF, but bursting down certain heroes like the Venomancer would actually be very important.
It's most likely going to be a prolonged fight though, because they have 4 staff on AA, they have 2 Ghost Scepters, and they have BKBs. So it's very unlikely that he's going to be able to like one-shot someone.
Yeah.
Especially on land, you can just pop Ghost Scepter immediately.
Right.
So, you know, they have a lot of counterplay to that, and they want to be able to kite his BKB. And if he's most likely going to be man fighting someone like the Brood or the SF during the BKB, and you want to win that one. If you have to back off during your BKB, you already lost the fight as TA.
Yeah. So once he does have that MKB, you're going to see him try and challenge God as much as possible.
They need another initiation like last time, but notice everyone's split apart from the Shadow Fiend. If he Winter's Curses them, no one's going to be attacking him.
And that's why Universe is going to jump on Illidan, see if they can take him out. They actually pop the Winter's Curse, but it looks like he's still going to be able to get off the ultimate. Samael comes forward and tries to finish him off, but the ultimate is still there, and that's going to be problematic, especially with Samael running out of refraction charges. They do have the Cold Embrace, but eventually he will go down as that heal was not available with the Ice Blast over the top thanks to the Ancient Apparition. VP handily win the fight, and now they have so much downtime. 80 seconds on the clock for the Templar Assassin that VP could very easily make this 2 lanes of racks. In fact, if it wasn't for the fact that that tier 2 tower was up in the top lane, it would almost say that EG would have to GG out, but looks like they're going to GG out anyway. Game number 1 goes to VP.
Very well played by VP. I think they have the confidence that most teams don't to just constantly push high ground. Okay, we lost the fight. We know what we did wrong. Like we didn't get AA ulti off, or we clumped around the SF, or we popped our BKBs too late. Whatever it was, they immediately changed their mistake and had a successful or more successful push.
So very well played by Virtus.Pro. I mean, I was very concerned about their form going into this tournament. I felt like that they didn't really look like the VP that we saw at TI. Even though they kept the same roster, it was a little bit surprising that they weren't, easily one of the strongest teams. They were actually losing a lot of matches, but